So this is before my morning pages, even before the stretches, quite long before I turn off the flight mode of my phone. I just slept for 11 hours because I was so drained of this 16-hour shift and realized taking it slow yesterday wasn't gonna make it. I wasn't gonna do it for me. So I have a bunch of weird feelings about how I'm feeling, how my body feels, how my throat feels, but I was smoking yesterday, so I just need this to sort of sort things in my head before writing it down will help doing that as well. But there's just a bunch of to-dos in my head that if I don't prioritize them, it feels like they push me down and confuse me and overwhelm me even. So I just need to think about what I'm doing. So I have like 7 hours to this day before I'm gonna meet friends. I'll make it 8-ish hours. And I feel like one of the biggest things is I'm not, in my head, I don't feel capable of too much, which sort of correlates to the amount of things, or how I perceive the amount of things that I need to do, which is, I think, not too much, basically. So if I would just start and have a plan of the direction I'm going in and the things I want to do in that time, I feel like it wouldn't be that much. But since there's this huge mess right now, I feel like I want to bail out, so to speak, like before even trying. So no, this is too much, and that's where I'm like confused, being in my bed, being like, yeah, I know I need rest, but when does the necessary rest end and continue in procrastination and bailing out of my to-dos? Where's the transition of that? When do I actually, when am I recharged enough to do that, and when does my lack of confidence of doing things and achieving things kick in and then sort of take it away from me? So I feel like I've definitely overcome this transition a little bit, though I'm still feeling tired. But I need to put in some work for WinZo, because I think they've been pressured themselves and sort of put pressure on me now. But I also have the feeling that the approach going in doesn't really work. So I should think of another approach, which is probably possible, and I should just do it. But in a way, I'm not too motivated to do it, maybe because of the pressure aspect. I'm not really sure, but maybe I should just leave it like that. So there's actually this easy part of just approaching people, just working my way through a list, and then the more creative part of figuring out what else there's to do, what other chances are there. And the other part is, of course, editing and cutting these videos, and I'm thinking about doing a challenge for myself, also for you to watch and for me to watch myself. I don't know, put in 2 hours of editing every day for the next week, maybe starting today. That could be a thing. But also I want to hit some yoga and maybe meet some friends, because I feel like that's what I'm needing. But also that's what I've been doing for the past forever. And now I have other priorities eventually. I just need to align them with myself and see what is really most important for me. All right, it's a little bit of a time lapse. No, not a time lapse, it's just a little bit later. Pretty much nothing much happened so far. I feel a little better. I think most of my feeling bad was lack of hydration, basically. So I didn't drink enough in the past 2 days, I reckon. That's why the effect is so big. So yeah, I was sitting on my laptop and just rewording some things, rewriting some things, and that just took me so long. And I actually, it happened exactly how I put it in my journal this late afternoon, where I was like, I need to be careful not to spend double the effort for half of the outcome, which is basically what happens when I keep forcing myself to things that I don't have the energy for. So this is a reminder to myself to figure out a different way, because a friend of mine just put it quite good actually. She was like, hey, does it really make a big difference if you do it today, like at 6 p.m. or if you do it tomorrow? I was like, well, yeah, probably not, I guess. Especially under, like, considering what I said before, like needing 4 times the effort for, or double the effort for half of the outcome is just not a good, it's just not good in terms of effectiveness. So I'm gonna skip that today. Gonna jump into the sauna and see how I feel. It's also like the 3rd day I didn't go to the gym. Obviously that one day was really exhausting. But at some point I lost it this week. Like, just energetically, like at some point I feel like I might have miscalculated, which could have been the Thursday. But yeah, this is one of the things I want to observe actually. So I don't know whether I'm feeling like working out now. I don't even know whether I feel like going out now. I already contacted my friend and said, hey, eventually I'm not feeling like that. But let's see, maybe I'll go for a short round, a quick round, and leave early, go to bed not too late eventually. But that's again half things, maybe. You see, I just need to get into going, because what's in here or there, it's just, we'll see. Hello. So I just did my morning pages on a midday. That's when I call them that, when I go out first or have something else to do and then do them. The thing that I just want to capture on camera is that I realize for this role that I'm having with this WinZo company, which is the influencer marketing, I reach points that I know already in terms of being unmotivated, feeling tired, being easily distracted while trying to do the tasks that I'm supposed to do. In times where I might not feel like it, or where I think I might not feel like it, when there's certainly a valid point to it, but might also be some projection of, I don't know, fear of not being too good, or just not wanting to do it in a way, failing expectations, stuff like that. So when it's like that, I tend to throw the towel. That's what I'm realizing right now as well. I do have the tendency to be like, nah, let's just skip it. So there are more components to it, which I'm just realizing with this already, or also as well. And it's quite weird actually for me, because, or not weird, but interesting, because I feel like I need to learn how to communicate expectations in several ways, which is in the private sector, but also in the business sector, since in that very special case, I do have a contract which doesn't imply any specific time, but it also doesn't imply any specific salary. So this leaves me sort of with the freedom in my head to do it whenever I want, whilst we're having daily meetings where something is being expected of me, which I only feel and I don't actually know because I haven't talked about it, specifically at least. So now thinking and speaking of it, so this is an actual practice right now for me. I'm trying to figure it out. This sort of gives me a mismatch in my head, which I don't understand, and I feel like not wanting to do it because I don't understand it, maybe. So that's one thing. So I need to figure it out, how to talk to them about it, which shouldn't be that hard because they're super open. It's just on my side. Also, I have the tendency, or maybe as a consequence, I have the tendency like, the approach that we're choosing in regards of what we're trying to do is not the right one. I should do it differently, and doing what I'm supposed to do doesn't lead us anywhere. So I figured that instead of being so full of myself and thinking that I might know better than these guys, and just avoiding hard tasks with that is also not the thing or the way I want to move on, because definitely some part of me tries to avoid some tasks that in my head feel uncomfortable. And why do they feel uncomfortable? Because I do identify with the products I stand for and the company I work for somewhat personally. It's never just a job, and I don't even know why, but I feel I need to detach myself emotionally from the success of the things I'm doing, at least when it's for other people, or maybe even for my project as well. Maybe do it emotionally and detach the emotions from the outcome. Maybe that's the same thing with investments, where you say invest emotionally, but look at them without any emotions. So that just might really help me, because I feel how it demotivates me when I don't get responses on my contact approach, and then I feel like pushing people in terms of following up, which is just a normal thing you would do in marketing and stuff. We would just follow up. We have a target and we want to reach it, and it's not hurting anyone to receive another email, and it's not, even though there's my name underneath it, they won't think, oh, what an asshole, he's texting me again. It's just like, there's just one of two ways. It's either, oh yeah, I forgot, or I haven't seen it, it's nice that he keeps following up and let's try this. Or it's like, oh, didn't want it in the first place, don't want it in the second either. So they just keep ignoring me, which is probably fine as well. Yet it's crazy how in this rather simple role there's so much going on for me, and actually really putting stuff onto me. Like I really feel how I'm so tired once I try to sit down to work on this stuff, which is crazy because it's just an inner avoidance which definitely has a point, and at some point needs to be looked at and also honored and maybe reacted upon. But I also know there's a huge part of that it's just an old pattern, that is just avoidance, which is again toxic masculinity, which I'm trying to heal, or unhealed masculinity, to not make it this catchy. So I'm gonna go work on it because I feel it's necessary. And also this talking about masculinity, femininity, that's actually a thing I want to do an own episode about, but it just don't seem to get to it. But yeah, so that's why I should probably get to work. That's it. And see how it goes. Because that's a huge point as well. Like, this is just a trial phase. I told the guys that I have no idea what I'm doing. I have a friend and blah, 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 but she's under no obligation to take her time and talk to me about it. But if this just turns out not to be my thing, or I tend to be bad at it or whatever, that's just fine. It doesn't make me a bad person or letting anyone down, because we all agreed on trying it out. And for my energetic profile, for example, it just might not be the thing if you expect something of me each and every day of the week, because that's just not how I work. I really love this, coming in, having peak performance, and then being left alone for a couple of days in order for me to recharge, having done my duty and finishing something off, like having this, maybe that's a point as well, having this ongoing obligation without any specific goal, also time-wise and duration-wise, just doesn't really seem to be my thing. I don't want to put that in my head more than necessary, but that's just my observation lately. So I don't know. As I said, it's not about being a good person or not, or letting anyone down. If this, after all, the communication that needs to come first, if this just doesn't work out, that's so fine, because then something else will come, and also someone else will fill the role with to a degree where all of the parties are happy. So yeah, that's just my thoughts for now. Thank you, project. That was really helpful. Oh, I need to share something with you, and just hold it back. Hold. Anyways, I need to share something with you because I feel quite hyped, because this is growing for me. This is actually taking on responsibility. As I said it yesterday, I had the balls to address all my thoughts in terms of daily meetings, how it's putting pressure on me, how it's taken off my flexibility of my time and energy rhythm. And I'm so grateful that with WinZo and the guys, I have a company to my side who's understandable and clever enough and flexible enough to talk about this with me. But first and foremost, I'm very proud of myself to have addressed it, because now I feel so relieved. I have a very different kind of motivation to go on working. We rescheduled the meetings. It just feels so good to have come out of my avoidance, to take on responsibility for myself, for how I feel well, how I feel I want to perform, and also be very honest about how I just don't want to let anyone down or shit the bed with how I am, and not feeling right with how I am, not feel that I fit in, and rather than just leaving it and backing out, trying to communicate how I feel it could be possible, or even get into the conversation. It's not that I had this super clear vision of how this might work, or what I need, or what would be good for me, but just addressing it and trust the other person to be able to deal with it as well, and have different ideas and stuff like that is just so energizing right now. I feel so blessed and proud right now, and I am quite sure I wouldn't have been able to do this. I know I wasn't able to do this before. I've never gotten to this point of trust and this point of communication to stand up for myself, and also in a way that doesn't exclude me from the goals that we created together, but actually comes from a point where I want to meet these goals, where I want to be the person that helps this company, or adds value to the company, rather than just hangs on their sleeve and being like just getting on from salary to salary up until the point where I don't want to work for them anymore, and we separate, which seems to be normal for myself. But maybe there's just ways to do differently, and I'm really blessed for that. Holy shit. So I've looked into my screen way too long, and sort of my daily schedule, or my rough time planning. How did it work out? Quite well, actually. It was a little bit, or it's still quite flexible, but it does help me. But I'm just feeling so weird. I don't know, like Super tired, but not leaving the house for half of the day is so crazy for me. I don't know why I'm taking this video now. Maybe just to calm me down for a second, because I was going loca un poco. But maybe I should use that sort of energy at least to go to the gym now, which I'm planning on doing. I just felt like I needed to record something. But oh yeah, I actually wanted to start investing 2 hours of the day into my project every day, at least the weekdays. But tonight, and I'm doing that purposely, I'm gonna prioritize meeting my friend, going to the gym now. And I feel that's a good invest in my time. Yet, I want to finish the video that I started yesterday. I'm getting quicker, definitely. By the way, I didn't film that. Yesterday was the day that I actually put this out and actually came out with all this. After I had a beautiful meetup with, or like the synchronicity just did its job, and I met this beautiful guy just opening up so much during the yoga session, which had the topic of release, but between all the girlies that brought their phone to the mat, that was just him letting go and really releasing, which was incredible. And we got to talking and got to the same, or figured out that we sort of have the same steps moving onward now, coming out with our self-employment, with the creative steps to be vulnerable, publicly showing ourselves. And I just took his impulse to just do it, because also it was in my head during the session when the beautiful teacher as well was like, hey, what's on your mind? What's left there? Because all you need is already there. I'm like, damn, is there anything missing? And after talking to Noah, I was like, oh shit, there really is everything. There is love. There is all the stuff that I want to create, or everything I need for that is already there. And I didn't quite see it before, and I needed that very last inch of or the last push to really do it. And so, as you all know, I just did that, put it on Instagram, put it on YouTube, and the amount of feedback I got was so beautiful. And I don't feel like the big push is over. I just in projects that I did before, I felt that the coming out part was the biggest one, you know, like pushing this away. And once I had this heap, the leap over the heap, I thought, okay, now it's done. Now I don't have to push anymore. Realizing that this now is just the beginning. Announcing it and releasing it is just the beginning. And now it's about me continuing doing what I sent out to do. And that's the interesting part, that I have this realization now in comparison to other things that might have started before. And knowing that there's at least 4 weeks of content on this phone right now and starting, or still ongoing, makes me really happy. So again, there's a lot going on since the videos I haven't done before. Didn't even mention that I just released this channel. They were just filled with the WinZo stuff and the way and the progress I'm making there. So again, there's a lot going on, and the conversations I'm having and the energies that are flowing right now are so intense that I feel like I'm sort of I'm not even able to catch them all. Maybe this is why I had to get this video done now, just to be aware of all the beauty and the chances that are here and now. Because today just was a huge step in many ways, actually. And I'm just getting a shiver, which is usually a good sign for me to realize that I am exactly where I need to be. Yes, and this is a way calmer state for me to leave the house and also step into this wild world of gym, where I do have these problems with comparison and all this stuff. And I feel like if I'm not prepared, I much rather fall into old habits. But now, bringing me back to this, again, talking to you, to me, to the phone, just helps a lot every time to get closer to me, you know, create this space between stimulus and reaction. That's actually exactly what it's about to be. Even though I'm tired and I have squared eyes because of looking at the screen all day. But wow, so blessed right now. I wish I could show you this like tomorrow, but maybe I'm gonna bring it into the video somehow. I don't know. For now, that's it.